Speaking
But
of weed, if I may, just one sec. I just one
please.
sec. I have a theory that's going on right now. I think it's a lot of the like online commentators who are stoners or have been stoners in the past or have been like, drug users are now becoming like the soothsayers and the philosophers and the people that are talking about the news in the most objective way right now. In a weird way, stoners are kind of taking over like lefty media. If you notice
Nice.
that Russell Brand, Jimmy Dore, a lot of these really popular, even Joe Rogan. Like, I don't agree with Joe Rogan on everything, but you can't deny his popularity. A lot of these people are just stoners and comedians that are really good at like doing what George Carlin and Richard Pryor used to do, which is like giving you the news, talking about the world in a way that's also funny, are really taking over the new niche online where a lot of people are looking to scratch their itch with their news, but they're also looking to be entertained. And it's a weird thing, man. I think that they're getting kind of a lot of these stoners are essentially like taking over new online news. And it's actually a threat to the fucking establishment who are all a bunch of stiffs. They can't move into the same niche, the same paradigm that Russell Brand and Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore, amongst other famous, very smart stoners who also talk about the news, have already taken over. So it's actually an interesting phenomenon. And, that bodes well for people like you and I, mister.
Yeah, I know, right? I like to think the Godfather was Jon Stewart with the Daily Show, right? Yeah. I mean,
he was a stoner, though? Does he smoke a lot of weed?
Dude, he was in Half Baked. He was.
Yeah, I do remember that. I just didn't know if that he was. I mean, I wish he had done the Daily Show while like smoking. That would have been sweet.
Oh, you mean like visibly smoking? Because I was about to say they probably like in the green room or maybe before he left the house. Hell, I don't know how those people, like rich people with weed. I don't know how they do it. They probably. Like a trolley, like in Mr. Rogers, that comes out. It's like bing bing, and it's instead of the land of make believe, it just has this big giant blunt on there, and you're just, oh, thank you, Magic Weed Train. I'll see you later, motherfucker.
I'm not really sure a whole bunch of rich people are able to smoke weed. I think they do a lot more like pills and coke and stuff like that. If there were a whole bunch of rich stoners, they'd end up like Snoop Dogg, where they actually gave a fuck. Like all of these rich sociopaths, you can tell they're not smoking any weed because they don't give a fuck about their fellow man. But yeah. I digress. Yeah,
no.
They have all their like Percocet and everything wheeled out to them on their, this on a silver platter by their butler or whatever. I get you.
Right. I mean, and I don't understand that either. Because first of all, I've never done cocaine in my life. I've never done like recreational pills or anything like that.
No,
I think
me either.
The closest I came to is I had a root canal once, and actually two quick stories. I had a root canal once, and they did so well there was no pain afterwards, but he still prescribed me Vicodin, I think. Yeah. So I was like, I'll try Vicodin, and I was like, oh, okay, but I didn't like. I liked the pot high better than I did the Vicodin. And then when I had a double hernia surgery out in Cali. And they also prescribed Vicodin, I believe. But I ended up staying at a friend's house. Her and her roommate took care of me, and and I didn't really have that much pain. Like I said, I've been very lucky with like root canals and hernias. The doctors, they've done good. But if there was any pain, I just smoked a little pot, and then I was like fine, so. I'm scared of pills. I have a very addictive personality, and I'm afraid if I ever got into like any kind of recreational pill thing, or like one thing, I could never do heroin because I don't do needles. Even if I wanted to, I would not do needles. I don't like to take anything that has the capability of making your heart explode. So that's why I don't do cocaine.
No coke.
I'm already hyper, so, but
for sure.
I think what you said is very, it rings true. I mean, a lot of people that we watch, in the space that we're in, a lot of them are smokers too, pot smokers. And, I don't know, it's kind of like a truth serum sort of, isn't it? I mean, like if you smoke pot, you kind of feel more relaxed and you feel a little bit like more honest. You know, I don't know. Is that
not
thing?
just more honest, but I think more like, you know, you're a pacifist generally, and you start to think about the world in a more objective way. So a lot of these people who are past, like Russell's a past heroin user, but he's very poignant in the way that he looks at the world. And sometimes it takes a little bit of, you know, substance here or there to open your mind up that way. It's all the fucking stiffs that have been, you know, corralled by our capitalistic system to be the Tucker Carlsons and the Rachel Maddows and the Stuart Varneys and the, you know, Brian Stelzers of the world, man. You know, those motherfuckers aren't doing anything except for, you know, occasionally what we're talking about here with the pills or rich people drugs, man. But yeah, you actually were talking about something interesting. Opioid addiction could largely be avoided if we legalized marijuana in this country, which is, I imagine, one of the big reasons that Joe Biden doesn't want to do that, even though he can via executive order, by the way, unilaterally, does not need Congress, is because he's in the pockets of big pharma, and they stand to lose billions if something like weed gets legalized and it can be used for, like you said, pain relief. You know, there's also treatment with nausea with chemotherapy, which you get chemotherapy, you get very, very sick. You can have that nausea treated a lot of times with marijuana, but they have very expensive drugs they'll give you that are anti-nausea medication that they stand to lose millions of dollars off of. So that's probably why Joe Biden won't do this, even though it would help everybody. I mean, not just people medically, but I mean, dude, why don't we just, if I'm king of the world, we're crop dusting the entire United States thrice daily with crop dusters full of THC to just calm everybody the fuck down.
Ooh.
You know, as Bill Hicks, you remember Bill Hicks? What Bill Hicks's joke used to go, he goes, marijuana should not be illegal, it should be mandatory. Everybody would chill the fuck out. If you're at a party and there's people getting into a fight, are they drunk or are they smoking weed? And the whole crowd goes, they're drunk. Goddamn right, because you can't ever get in a fight when you're on weed. It's physically impossible. So that's the old joke, but he's exactly right. That's why he's one of my favorites too. But like, dude, why don't we do that? Joe Biden won't do it via executive order because Big Pharma owns him and they stand to lose tens of billions on opioids.
Yeah, I mean, well, they own the party, and then the party owns Joe. So that's how that works, exactly. You know, because, you know, Joe's not making decisions on his own at this point.
No. And don't quote me, but I think he is. I'm fairly certain that he is actually the biggest recipient of Big Pharma money in the history of politicians. And if he's not number one, he's number two. Obama is either one or two, I think. So like he's bought and paid for. The donors own him and they own the party as well. So that's why we can't have nice things like marijuana, legalized weed, which helps so many people.